Alright, in this video, I want to talk about Donald Trump and his soon rise to ultimate power. Joking, not joking. Anyway, I recently heard about the movie The Sound of Freedom, and in the movie, obviously it's depicting how they're using children and kidnapping children and using them either as sex slaves or as sources of adrenochrome. And in the movie, they put the idea that you should chip your children like a microchip so that you can keep track of them. So you don't have to be so watchful over your children. You just chip them, and if anybody takes them, then you can just find them using the GPS and what have you, right? Sounds like a great idea, right? You want to find the children, protect the children. Well, I think we should teach other things, such as heightened vigilance. Don't trust anybody. Care for your children. Watch over them. Get off of the phones and the tablets. And I know you're tired and whatnot, but your life is a sacrifice for your children. So you gotta suck that up. And even if you were to chip them, let's say, there's devices you can use to destroy a microchip without having to actually dig it out. Right? So let's say you put the chip in the child's hand, and they say like it's like a grain of rice is like the size of it or whatever, right? Well, kind of like if you've seen these little sleeves, like in the military, they gave us these copper sleeves to put like our ID or what have you inside of it because there was a chip inside of our ID, and those can be read from a distance using certain technologies and devices. But if you put it inside the copper sleeve, they can't. So they can still kidnap your child and have a van that's lined with copper. Just as a quick example of how they could bypass that. Magnets as well. You put magnets can interfere with electronic devices and even destroy them. In some cases where they can't be used anymore. So just those two quick examples shows how the chips aren't the answer. You see the whole reason why they're saying, oh, you see the problem which they themselves created. The solution is to get chipped. Why are they saying that? Even though when you think about it, that's not the answer. It's because they are giving you little subtle hints to start accepting things being injected into you, such as technology, microchip, right? For your own good, the good of your children. If you love your children, you're going to do that. And after this movie, Trump comes out talking about that they're going to have this tracking system and it's going to be on land and sea and air and talking about how great it is and this and that and the other thing. And it's like people are loving it. It's like they don't see how there's all kinds of these precursors set up for ultimately the mark of the beast, where Americans used to be very, very free. We didn't have income tax. We didn't have birth certificates and social security numbers. And the government told us, oh, we need to do income tax because of war. It's only temporary. Well, when is it going to stop? It seems like the tax just increases. Okay, well, the social security number. Oh, that again is just anybody who wants it can have it. It's never going to be required that you need a social security number to get a job or anything like that. All right, well, try to get a job today without a social security number, right? So you see how with these things, they've already did precursors where you just think it's normal. Oh, you need the social security number to be able to basically buy and sell, right? It's not real hardcore tighten the noose around you where you can't get money without it. You can't work around it, right? But for the most part, you want to be part of the system and just have a quote unquote normal life. You need to have that social security number. Well, we also saw recently with the recent events that happened from 2020 to 2023-ish year, where they locked things down because of the boogeyman, and they were saying if you didn't take a snake bite, that maybe you shouldn't be allowed to have your job, maybe you shouldn't be allowed in the stores. And there's actually people supporting such a thing, showing that there's more support for a Mark of the Beast kind of event happening. So you can see how people are going to accept it, especially when they're putting it out like this, like it's for the children, the safety of the children. You got to protect the children, right? So you got your fear and everything all heightened up so that, oh yeah, I want to protect them and I don't want to be one of the guys that's like, no, and everybody thinks I'm some kind of jerk, so I'm going to go along with it. And yeah, I was looking at that and thinking, that ain't good. Then I was listening to some people talk about Donald Trump going to court against charges against him. And I heard some interesting points of view saying that, well, they shouldn't have done that because now he's going to be allowed to call up each state to testify that there wasn't any kind of corruption in the election. And they're going to have to prove it. Because if each state, all it takes is one state not able to prove that the election was clean, they had no issues, there wasn't anything suspect, if they can prove, if one state messes up and they can't prove that it was perfectly clean, then Trump is going to be justified in what he did. And have been telling people that America's going to repeat Nazi Germany. It's going on right now where the left is looking so crazy that people are going to slingshot to the right. What happened in Germany? Well, they went really far to the left with socialism, communism, and it destroyed the country, the economy. So then they ended up slingshotting over to the far right, allowing Hitler to come into power and ultimately stay in power, where he wasn't just elected in and had to deal with terms, but that he was permanently in office. And here we go with the left making everything look very bad. He's going to slingshot everybody over to the right. And if this court case stuff goes through, happens to be right at election time, Trump gets back in office, especially when this court stuff is going on, there's going to be more people on his side there that they can use this case to show that, hey, the elections are fraud, we're going to suspend elections. And next thing you know, it's just like the Social Security number. Oh, we're never going to be forced to have it where you need it, right? Oh, the income tax, it's just temporary. Oh, this is just a temporary suspension of elections because there's fraud. But it just keeps going. Oh, we're still suspending it because we can't trust elections. And all of a sudden he's a dictator. You see the stage already set up for it. And I've been saying it for a while. And yet it seems like more people are ignoring it and just basically worshiping this guy. And I could just imagine if it was just 10, 15 years ago, Trump was just a pompous ass, that he was a rich guy. He didn't care about the everyday working man or anything like that. And no one would want him to be president. And now he's like the idol of the working class and of Christians alike. He's the savior of America. It's all a stage set up for you to support such an idea. It's a manipulation, and you're being suckered into it. Tying into this whole mark of the beast thing, coming full circle back around here, when he was in office, not only was he pushing for 5G, but he was like, no, let's go all the way to 6G. 6G is where you would actually have basically the internet in you through some kind of technology, right? Some device like a chip within you would connect you to the internet. And you would be also basically a Wi-Fi system within yourself, right? Because you know how right now they have towers with 5G. It's like the towers are spread out like on more telephone poles. But with 6G, you are producing the internet. Very weird, crazy stuff. And with the whole support of all this tracking system, that's like an invasion of privacy. It's completely anti-American, but they're hiding it by the guise of, don't you want to protect the children? The children are being taken by all these people that are molesting them and getting adrenochrome out of them. And don't you care about the children? You're probably with them. You're probably on the side of these pedophiles. And it's like, whoa. So you see how quickly you can be demonized if you speak out against such a thing, right? Because you're either against the pedos or you're for them, right? If you are against this whole tracking system, then you must be one of the people trafficking children, right? And it's just that same BS story. Well, if you have nothing to hide, then why are you worried about it? Well, for starters, let's say I'm at home. Whether you have you're at home, you have the day off. What if you want to hang around in your house in your polka dotted underwear, right? And you're sitting there watching TV, picking your nose, and flicking yourself, right? Maybe that's what you want to do. You have some time off. You want to relax, be weird in your couch. But do you want everybody to be able to see that? It's not that you're hiding something devious that you're doing, but you're going to be a slob. You're going to be a little weird and disgusting on your day off, home alone. It's none of anybody's business what you're doing, right? Or what if you're with your wife, your husband? You're doing your thing. You want people to know about that stuff? Oh, what if you're having some crazy sexual things go on? You want people to know all the stuff you're doing with your spouse? It's none of their business, right? What if you're having sexual issues? You want people knowing about all that? Well, you got nothing to hide. What are you, a criminal? You selling drugs, kidnapping children? That's why you don't want us to watch everything you're doing? You got nothing to hide. You see how just ridiculous it is. But we see how they're manipulating things to make it look like the good is evil and the evil is good. They completely flip-flopped everything and manipulated it with some Jedi mind tricks using basically NLP language here and suckering everybody into all this. And when I heard about them wanting to convince people to chip their children, I was thinking, you know what? I think the rapture is very, very soon. I've been saying I think the earliest it would happen is in 2024. It just so happens that this stuff is going on with Trump and his trial and him going to be reelected, potentially reelected anyway. And what if they want to do this new technology the 6G, inject your children with this so that you protect them. And what if it does something that it also messes with your genetics, not just hooking you up to technology? Well, you just took away the choice of your children to reject the mark of the beast or not. So then you would have damned them. So I was like, you know what? I don't think God's going to let that happen. I think the rapture is going to happen before that. Where was I? Oh yeah, so the children, you take away their choice of being saved or lost. So I think God is going to be like, no. And that's rapture time. He does it to save the children from being damned because of the choices of their parents. And that should be a wake-up call. That should let you know that, hey, what is being given out is the mark of the beast. That it is going to damn your soul because God took the children along with his church to protect them so that they wouldn't be damned because of your choice, not their own. I mean, God lets you have a lot of free will, especially with your family, and have rule over your children. But when it comes to salvation, he leaves that to every individual. And if you take away that person's choice to be saved or not, I think that's when God's going to interfere. So that's why I think the rapture is going to be very soon. And like I said at the earliest, 2024. But, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching.
So that fella couldn't join the church. He couldn't join the church. He couldn't get baptized. He couldn't get baptized. He woke up with God. He woke up with the devil. Are you saved? Amen. So that fella didn't take the sacraments. Didn't take the sacraments. Didn't say the rosary. Didn't say the rosary. Didn't tithe. Didn't tithe. He went to heaven. He went to hell. You saved? Didn't keep the law. He didn't keep the law. He broke the commandments. He broke the commandments. He didn't keep the golden rule. He didn't keep the golden rule. He woke up in glory. He woke up in the pit. Are you saved? You're saved. If you're not saved, you're over here or you're over here. You sure ain't in the middle. He said, Lord, remember me, thou comest thy kingdom. And Jesus turned to him and said, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be saved. Just like that. You have been saved? If you ever saved, you were saved like that.